it seems that Apple is already cutting production orders for this year's 2018 iPhone models, but it might actually work out in their favor. Buckle up, Apple sheep. This episode is going to be a wild ride.
Buckle up, buckaroo!
Get daily tech news in a way that doesn't suck. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode.
Ladies and gents, what is the haps? Welcome to The Thing from Page Tech, the show that gives you all the latest tech news from one geek. That's me to another, that is you. Happy Friday. Quick heads up, quick reminder, link down in the description below. Our limited run FAH PAH TAH shirt is still available, but only for a few more days. If you miss out, you don't buy one, we don't print them again, and you don't get one. So last few days, link down below to go ahead and grab yours. Lots to dive into in today's episode, so let's do the news thing. Story numero one is an update to a thing that we talked about on yesterday's episode. I think it was yesterday. We mentioned how there is a class action lawsuit going on right now against Apple regarding Apple Watch. The lawsuit claims that literally every single Apple Watch has the same defect, where essentially there's a design flaw and the defect is causing screens to just literally pop off of the actual watch. So the display, boop, becomes detached, and this is happening to enough people where there's a lawsuit because they think that Apple knew about this ahead of time before they ever released the watch. Now, as an update to this story, after that episode aired last night, my brother actually messaged me and said, hey, the thing you talked about in the show about the Apple Watch, the screen detaching, that happened to mine. So here are pictures of his Apple Watch. This happened pretty recently after he purchased it. Clearly, you see the exact same issue. The display becomes detached from the actual watch itself. Looks like an accordion. Looks like it shouldn't be that way. Okay, so it happened to him. And not only did it happen, but he also reminded me that he paid. They made him pay for the repairs. They made him pay $150 to repair that watch. Doesn't that sound familiar? We saw the same thing regarding the class action lawsuit with the iPhone 6 and Bengate and touch disease. There was a known defect with the phone. Apple knew about it before they ever released it. That, of course, came out in recent court documents. People obviously experienced problems directly related to the known defect. The problem was Apple knew, the people didn't know, so when they brought their phones in, Apple made them pay $150 for the repair. In fact, in that actual episode when I was reporting about that story, I mentioned that we only found out about this because of court documents. Apple lied to us all these years and would have continued to do so, so what else aren't they telling us about? And here we are, just like a week later with this Apple Watch issue. And now there's two paths we can go here. You can just call me an Apple hater, right? You could just defend your favorite nearly $1 trillion company because they don't do anything wrong ever, and your YouTube comments help their cause. Seriously, there was a bunch of people in the comment section below on last night's show when we talked about this Apple Watch story initially, saying, hey, I don't believe this lawsuit. This isn't a thing because my Apple Watch works perfectly. I have had no problems. And to those people, once again, I say the same thing I have to say and repeat myself over and over again. Just because you don't experience the problem, just because you don't see the problem, does not mean it doesn't exist. Or there's that second path we can take where we can all be objective and realize, hey, there might be a pattern here. This might be a significant issue, and now I think there's more legitimacy to this Apple Watch case. If you guys have had any issues with your Apple Watch, if you experience the same thing, let us know down in the comment section below. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this just a coincidence or like a real pattern? Okay, so we knew this next one was coming, and now it's here. Facebook has launched a video game streaming thing on Facebook to compete with Twitch. Facebook has officially launched fb.gg. Wow, good domain. Good domain, Facebook. It's a hub which makes it easier for people to find gaming content that is streamed on Facebook. So yes, streaming has been a thing on Facebook for a while. Now they're giving you like an official hub for that stuff. And we already know they've been literally paying money to content creators and streamers to leave their current platform, if that's Twitch or YouTube, and instead stream on Facebook. So you never know. Are these people here organically or because they got money? Okay, so listen, live streaming on Facebook, that's pretty easy. I haven't seen any problems with it. In fact, I have watched quite a few live streams on Facebook without any issues. But the problem here is Twitch is literally a destination. When you go to Twitch, you know what you're getting. With Facebook, it's Facebook. Like they do everything and try to appeal to every single person. That's the issue with Facebook. And maybe this hub will help, but as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm not going to Facebook or going to fb.gg for some gaming content. I'm just not going to do it. Do you think the content creators that go over to Facebook will make or break the platform, or do you just not care? You're not going to Facebook for gaming. You're going to go to Twitch or YouTube, destinations that are for live streaming. Let me know, because I don't have any f***s in the field. All right, so we haven't seen any of the new 2018 iPhone models. They haven't been announced. They haven't been released. Nothing official anyway. And yet still, we already have reports that Apple is cutting production orders by 20% for these new models for 2018. Already, 20% cutting the orders. Of course, we saw this happen, right, with the iPhone 10, but that happened late in production. The phone was already out, and Apple started cutting production. It was all over the headlines. It was covered everywhere. And now for the 2018 iPhones, reports are saying that Apple is quite conservative in terms of placing new orders for the upcoming iPhones this year. And I quote, for the 3 new models specifically, the total planned capacity could be up to 20% fewer than last year's orders. Now, there's a couple reasons that this could be happening. Maybe everything's not going as planned. For example, in one of the episodes last week, we let you know that they were having issues producing the LCD model iPhone. And there's a second option, maybe a second reason. I'll get to that in a second. But overall, Apple has cut the 2018 iPhone orders from 100 million orders down to 80 million. So by 20%, obviously though, still a lot of phones. Okay, so for that second reason. Now, this is my personal opinion. So, whatever that means to you. I think that Apple and the iPhones this year are going to crush it. They're going to sell a ton of phones like they always do. I think they're just avoiding what happened last year. I think they're like seeing into the future a little bit and trying to avoid it. Last year or whatever, with the iPhone 10, we saw that they predicted too many sales. Like, yes, they sold a bunch of phones. They broke records, and that's all fine, but they still predicted to sell more. So they didn't meet expectations, and they had to start cutting orders. And when they started cutting orders, obviously it started getting out, and headlines started going out about the iPhone 10 not meeting the expectations. We reported on it. So I think this is them very intelligently avoiding that. If they don't order as much, right, if their expectations are lower, suddenly they start selling more and more, or the usual amount, but since their expectations were lower, hey, they're doing really well. And you know it as well as I do, a Apple is exceeding expectations headline is always going to be better than, oh, it's not selling as well as they expected headline. Apple, I see you. Good thinking. And that is the show. Hopefully you liked it, you learned something. If you did, hit that like button. If you hate my stupid face, hit the dislike button. And of course, if you're new here, subscribe, because what else do you have to do? You don't have anything better to do than that. Hit the button. I'll see you on Monday. Actually, tomorrow. Recycle bins tomorrow.